Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. It's been 10 seasons of empowering small businesses such as yourself and hand-holding and guiding you in your growth journey. I'm Sunanda Jayasseelan. Tonight, we're bringing you the Lucknow edition of our Leaders of Tomorrow Town Hall, a series of interactions that we do across the country, interacting and connecting face-to-face and directly with small businesses such as yourself. We're discussing and debating, amongst other things, the fact that Uttar Pradesh is all set to become a $1 trillion economy. What role will small businesses have to play?
Good evening, all ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for giving this platform today. We firmly believe that next decade or so is a decade for SMEs and MSMEs in the country. IDFC, we are very closely working on some of the very unique products which are in fact pioneered by the banking in terms of how we can do the fundings to the startups. So I'll just take you through some of the startups initiative that we have taken, and that how we are working on those startups and how these funding, especially on the very small SMEs, is going to help you in long term. So we'll talk about India growth story, what is our startup ecosystem, and then we have the challenging and the status quo, that how we are challenging the status quo in terms of startups, and what are our offerings. So this is how the startup story is looking at. So almost 30 to 40 startups are born every day. And if we talk about India, is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after US and China. And in next 6 to 7 years, maximum millionaires in the making are from India. So we will overtake that freak which is currently going on from China, and India would have the maximum millionaires in next 7 to 8 years. And this is going to come from the startup industry. Unicorns that we have added are 19 unicorns. So let me explain what are unicorns. Basically, in terms of venture capitalist, any startup which crosses $1 billion becomes a unicorn. So we have now 19 unicorns last year. Similarly, the recognized startups in India, which are already recognized by SME and MSME, and those are registered, are around 78,000 plus. Let's talk about UP. UP is already at 7,200. And government UP approved in incubators are 48, which are going to increase to 100 as per the Deloitte report for 2020-2027. So Uttar Pradesh is the third largest of all the states in terms of your GDP. The state government has taken multiple steps in startup. MSME sector in India's largest employer. So basically, when I talk about the labor market, highest human resource capital is with UP. Lowest cost to capital in terms of labor is again with UP. And in next 7 to 8 years, maximum labor which will be given for any startup, or for that matter even to a bigger initiatives which has been like Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, which has been what we call it made in India, and what is now we calling it made in UP, will again come from the UP, because that human capital is available only with UP when you compare to India. These are the already unicorns of UP. So these are some of the startups which have already reached a certain space, and these are now names to reckon with. These are all from UP. Now, these are some of the very first things approach that we have given. There is not even a single startup account in the banking yet. If you are a startup company, you do not have your paperwork, we give you a startup account. We give you some of the guidelines how to start up a company in terms of FEMA regulations. How will you have your first escrow arrangement? How will you get your first funding? How will you do the RBI clearance? Mostly these products are there with the bank, but nobody gives you those consultancies on that. As a bank, if you're a startup account with me, I am the one who will make sure that all these points are taken care and your startup account is perfectly placed. So when we talk about the first tag, so this is one of the, again, unique initiatives. We covered almost more than 20,000 tolls across India, and you find the IDFC FIRST Banks all over India. This was also a startup, in fact. Monthly saving interest, our rate of interest is almost between 4 to 6% on a savings account. We give you a monthly savings rate of interest, which is very recently some of the banks are giving it, but we have been doing it from the day one. This is the bank, how the bank's journey has been in last 4.5, 5 years. So the CASA ratios have reached 50% capital adequacy. So if I talk about UP, UP as on date would have 40 plus branches. And all these branches are SME and MSME active. So all the branches are doing CGT-MSE roles, and they are giving special foreign currency fixed deposit loans for importers and exporters in UP. This is a very unique concept when customers generally talk about the ROI, but they do not have this facility of an FCDL or an FCTL where the same funding can be taken at a very lower rate. So these are the special loans provided to the startups, and these are the very competitive rates. I mean, you will not get it in the market. So this is early stage of a startup, how a startup current account is, that is the growth stage, and how, if you partner with IDFC, how we help you with that startup account. So as a startup, who will take care of your HR? As a startup, who will take care of your accountancy? As a startup, how will you manage your audits, and how will you manage your tax returns? These are applications which we are giving to startup, and all this is managed through the current account itself. Otherwise, once you grow over a period of time, you need a CA to have all this done. But if you are a startup with IDFC, there are inbuilt apps which can help you to do all this management. So I was talking about this. These are the very basics which are required. Mostly, once you are a startup, 1 year down the line, you realize that these are the communications which are coming to you, that you need to be a regulator interactor in AD services, FEMA queries, and as a startup, it's not that easy to solve for this. But as a bank, in our startup account, we make sure that all these consultancies are given to you as a part of the startup account. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was for the startup accounts.
I'll slip into a short break on that note. We're back in just a moment. Just stay tuned. Welcome back with us here in Leaders of Tomorrow. You're watching the Leaders of Tomorrow Town Hall edition in Lucknow. Thank you so much for your time, Aditya. My first question to you is, what does Capital Tree do? How did you get started? What was their journey like?
So basically, Capital Tree is a financial advisor firm which deals with all the financial products like investment, ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, in insurance, life, general, health, and in loaning, personal loan, housing loan, and loan against businesses. So what we do, we only believe in advisors, because finances is banks are doing their jobs, AMCs are doing their job, and insurance companies are doing their job really well. But the gap between this all is the advisors, what we get from the traditional advisory firms and the online. There's a big gap between all of them, that traditional advisory things are not going that good. The people who have been investing in traditional way are not that much satisfied. Whereas the person who is investing only on the basis of online advisors, online platforms, have some trust issues. So he is not able to make the decision that how much which ticket size he should go. So Capital Trees plays a very important role here. We do the appointment basis man-to-man things, so that we can clear the gap of online and offline as well.
Sure. I want to talk about the difference between investment and savings. Do you see this a lot? Is there a lot of confusion about what is investments? How should you invest? How should you save? If you're saving, should you be investing at all? Do you face those questions?
Definitely. So the way I have explained the place of capital tree shows you the traditional way and the modern way. So asset allocation is very important. While you talk about savings and differentiation between savings and investment, lot of people thinks that they both are same. But that is not happening when you see the investment for after a long time. People need to see that savings is the only part which we are setting aside from our income after expenditures. So 90% of the people think that saving is like investments, for which they only keep their money in saving bank account or in fixed deposits only. बट इन्वेस्टिंग अभी कुछ दिनों से इन्वेस्टिंग बहुत तेज़ी से आगे बढ़ रही है. हमारे ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स, यूट्यूब, पोस्ट कोविड तो इक्विटीज़ में पैसे बहुत आने शुरू हुए हैं. बट द थिंग इज़ पीपल आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ द थिंग्स अबाउट द प्रोडक्ट्स. हमें फिक्स डिपॉजिट्स को, बैंक अकाउंट्स को, इवन सेविंग बैंक अकाउंट प्लस को कैसे यूज़ करना है उसके बारे में लिटरेसी कम है. एंड इन्वेस्टिंग को लेके जो मिथ्स हैं वो भी मार्केट में काफ़ी ज़्यादा है, बिकॉज ट्रेडिशनल वे और मॉडर्न वे के बीच का जो गैप है. अब अगर हम सेविंग्स की बात करते हैं तो सेविंग्स हमें बैंक अकाउंट्स और एफडीआर्स में रखनी चाहिए, सिर्फ और सिर्फ इमरजेंसी फंड्स के लिए और उन शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स के लिए जिनमें हम सेफ्टी चाहते हैं. वेयर एज इन्वेस्टिंग इज ऑल अबाउट क्रिएटिंग वेल्थ, बाइंग सच टाइप ऑफ एसेट्स which can give us higher returns as well as help us to create wealth. Sure. Whereas savings is meant to be to plan our expected events or unexpected events in future.
Sure.
So if we will describe it in products, so I believe for saving products, bank accounts and fixed deposits are really good, so that someone can redeem their money on any planned or unplanned event on a single click. Whereas investing should be a long-term vision, and the person always need to consult some financial advisor for it, because they are much more complicated than savings.
Sure. So let me take one more question to you, and perhaps if there are any questions from the audience, we can take it. Our experts from IDFC FIRST Bank had talked about credit score, so I want to come to you on the CIBIL score. How does it really work, and your advice about how to manage it?
So what is CIBIL score? What is credit score? See, these money lenders and creditors do not know you personally. So what they do, they check your CIBIL score, credit score from various vendors, various credit vendors, so that they can know about your credit behavior, your paying back behavior, your credit history, so they can provide you money up forward. Meanwhile, what is happening presently, the CIBIL score has been really concerned because post-COVID, most of the people have lost their job, some of the businesses are lacking with their incomes. तो उसमें क्या हुआ है कि सिविल स्कोर्स प्रॉपरली जिस तरीके से चलते थे वैसे नहीं चल पा रहे हैं, उनका सिविल स्कोर डिक्रीज हो रहा है. तो मैं यहाँ पे ये बताना चाहूँगा कि सिविल स्कोर मेंटेन करने के लिए हम क्या स्टेप्स ले सकते हैं और किन एक्टिविटीज़ को अवॉइड कर सकते हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, हमें अपने जो भी बिल्स हैं उनको टाइमली पे करना चाहिए. अपने बिल्स को पे करने के लिए आप वन शॉट ही जाइए, और अदरवाइज आप ट्रांजैक्ट करने से पहले ही आप अपने ट्रांजैक्शन को प्री प्लान कर लीजिए. आर यू गोइंग टू मेक इट वन शॉट, और इफ़ यू आर नॉट एबल टू मेक द क्रेडिट कार्ड पेमेंट ऑन दिस मंथ, यू कैन कन्वर्ट इट इनटू EMIs ऑल्सो. बैंक्स आर गिविंग यू दैट ऑप्शंस टू. सो इफ़ यू विल प्री प्लान इट, आपका क्रेडिट स्कोर दिक्कत में नहीं आएगा.
I also want to talk about the fact that you look at insurance as well, apart from advising on personal finance. And I'm not sure how many people knew till a few years ago. I also wasn't aware that insurance is not a form of investment.
Yes.
Why is that misconception, and what could you perhaps tell us?
So basically what insurance is, most of the people think while investing, because they think LIC is the only insurance, and in terms of investing they only know LIC. So the thing is, what insurance do? Insurance covers your financial losses on from the event. If the life goes, the financial loss will be covered through life insurance. If you face any financial things while your health goes down, you fall ill, then health insurance helps. While you met with an accident, your vehicle insurance helps. So insurance is meant to make you compensate with financial terms only, not for the investment terms. Through LIC, the endowment plans, the money back plans, which are not being considered as investing anymore because of the financial literacy and awareness of the product through YouTube or through online platforms and everyone. So this is a conception which needs to be breaked, and people should more think about asset allocation, that how much they need to put in short term, long term, what is their risk appetite, and they should know about the product. They basically rely on the agents only. They don't even look at the brochures, and they don't tend to know about the product. They just go with the advice which agent is giving, not putting their perception first, that I have this goal, I have this type of taste, and I want safe, I want risky product. They just say what you have. I have something about. So I want to advise everyone that put your goal, put your taste of investments, risky or safe, first, then ask agent if you have something which can help my financial planning.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
2016, when our Honorable CM took over, we were trying to connect through all CEOs. And you will be right person to answer that question which we used to hear that time, that UP has been a place where a lot of issue comes in when it comes to recovery. Credit is not one-sided, it is two-sided. Someone has given credit, it has to come back. If it does not come back, then there is a formal structure to bring that money back to the economy. How does state behave, or how does state implementation, or machineries, which comes to police, it comes to law enforcement, also court to a certain extent involved into it, to bring that money back? You would be able to give us some insight that over a period, I'm quoting 2016, when people used to be very reluctant. We used to tell them it's good, we are doing, this government is going to do a lot of good. So I'm back after many years to the state. You will be able to give us an insight. How does it look like it, to your point of view, that the state has changed to a process where accountability of each stakeholder, which is involved into transaction, is good to have a good framework of contract implementation or credit, because all this score are contributing to our national score of ease of doing business in front of World Bank, UP's score in the ease of doing business national ranking. So how does it look like? How safe it is to play in this market? I'm glad that you are taking this chair and going ahead in a state which used to be once upon a time a very notorious state.
Thanks for having me here once again. And मैं इसमें ये इंक्लूड करना चाहूँगा कि सर, स्टेट लेवल 2016 से अभी तक अगर आप क्रेडिट लेंडिंग की बात करेंगे, सो इट हैज़ बीन रियली इम्प्रूव्ड. अभी IDFC फर्स्ट बैंक ने जैसे कि स्टार्ट किया है कि लेसर पेपर वर्क पे हम क्रेडिट्स तो बांट रहे हैं. क्रेडिट्स आज की डेट में लोन्स देना, क्रेडिट लेना बहुत ईजी होता जा रहा है. बट आपने सही कहा, रिपेमेंट इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्टर for which CIBIL is playing main role. The person, the business whoever taking the loan should always focus कि वो कितने टाइम के लिए ले रहे हैं. The focus should be on the repayments. तो installments जितने हम दे सकते हैं, we can lend the loan for a longer term, and उसके through हम repayments को भी ease कर सकते हैं.
Sure. One last question. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a very simple question. Like during the COVID, when many of the people, who defaulted on the EMIs, Now, with a lot of struggle, you went back after say 6 months or 4 months since, you negotiated with the bank boss. It was not my genuine fault. But somehow your CIBIL is activated, right? Because the bank is not going to look at your face and say, okay, no, COVID or no COVID, I want my repayment. Now, when this CIBIL is activated, now you have settled your score with the bank. Now you have developed a good rapport. Now, how do I go back? Now, CIBIL is not going to take back the information from the bank. Look, boy, the guy has now turned good. Now we'll remove it. Now, CIBIL, does it automatically get removed, your record, or that blemish is still existing? Because the bank is going to give a feedback. कि CIBIL activate अब remove कर दीजिए. Whose responsibility is it? Do I go back or do the bank gives the feedback?
Definitely, sir, your CIBIL score has been affected, so you will be the person. What you can do further, you can you can take steps to improve your your CIBIL scores by making further payments on time. But in what terms, that who is responsible? Definitely, you have to take steps further to improve your CIBIL score only.
No, I have improved upon. I have become a good boy now. Now, how do I, because if I go back to some other bank and say, boss, I want a loan, so you're going to see your record. CIBIL, it is going to, pop out like a,
Sir,
like a bomb on your face.
As per my knowledge, there are not any provision for that thing.
Okay. All right, I think no more questions from the audience. Aditya, thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much.
Out of time on tonight's conversation. This was part 1. We also have a part 2, and here's a quick sneak peek at that.
Ease of doing business is something which is very, very much important, as any new technology which is landing in India have a very strong impact on any of the economy sector.
States which are around the port, they are much more integrated with the national and international level business.
Growth and productivity has slowed down over last 20 years.